G'day guys, Justin here coming at you this time with my second video for NBA Player of the Week in 2017. Now in week one I had, for the 17th to the 23rd of October, I had Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks. This week Giannis wasn't in contention. The Bucks only had 2 games, so it's pretty hard to rule on a guy who only played 2 games. But I have stuck with the East. I did have the option of taking a Blake Griffin from the Clippers. James Harden had a good showing. We had Marc Gasol playing well. He did have an off game. Anthony Davis would have been suited had he not been injured for one of his games. DeMarcus Cousins would have looked the goods too had he delivered yesterday in New Orleans, managed to get the win. We had someone like a Porzingis who was looking pretty good over here in the East. Victor Oladipo was looking very good, even an Evan Fournier for the Orlando Magic, and Kemba Walker for the Charlotte Hornets. But nonetheless, for my player of the week for the week of October 24th to October 30th is Kyrie Irving of the Boston Celtics. Now, in the first week, the Celtics went 1-2. They opened their account with 2 straight losses. There's a lot of criticism coming Kyrie's way, particularly in the way of can he afford to carry a team and will he be capable of carrying a team here in 2017, 2018? How will he go without LeBron and all this extra help that he supposedly has had all of his career, despite the fact many people know Kyrie had done a lot in the first few seasons of his career. But nonetheless, he's managed to pull them out of the rut and carry them to their last 5 wins, but particularly play extremely well in their last 4 wins and predominantly 3 of their last 4. He scored no less than 20 points during the week. He had no less, he had 3 assists, but he was about 6 or 7 assists a game, 2 to 3 steals a game. Only had one game where he didn't receive a block, and managed to keep his turnovers to no more than 3 in a game, which is quite good to see. Never reached more than 3 fouls in a game. He shot 55 and 62% there at one point. He did have a couple of games under 45%. He had one game under 40% as well, but he managed to make up for that. His 3-point shooting wasn't too bad. It wasn't elite like Kyrie can be. He had 2 games over 40% shooting and 2 games under 30% shooting from deep. But he didn't miss a free throw. It was 100% from the stripe, so he made the most of when his shot wasn't falling. And again, he managed to carry the team to 4 successive wins. They beat the Knicks by 21, Milwaukee by 7, Miami by 6, both of those games being away. And then they came home and played San Antonio, who they beat by 14 points. Considering San Antonio's great start to the season, they've fallen down a little bit. Again, only early. But as I mentioned, Kyrie being consistent and playing well has helped this Boston team tremendously. In the minutes department, he only had 1 game there where he played less than 30 minutes, and that was the game against the Knicks in the blowout win, so you can understand that there. But overall, Kyrie's game has played out pretty well. He hasn't excelled from what he was capable of doing in Cleveland. He's still averaging those Cleveland numbers. They really, especially in the last couple of years, they really haven't dropped, just from some perspective there. And he's played really well. He's got a young crop of talent coming through. You've only got to look at the likes of a Jaylen Brown, a Jason Tatum, and a Marcus Smart. The way he's been able to use those guys has been good. Just going through here, other guys that he's had in the talent pool. Obviously, Jaylen Brown with 15.4 a game. Al Horford so far with 15 a game. Jason Tatum with 14 a game. He had back-to-back 20-point games there, which also helped. And a Marcus Smart with 11.4. So a reasonably young crop of guys there up in the points, which shows a very positive future for Boston. And with a point guard of the capabilities of Kyrie Irving, I don't see why they can't continue to grow. There are some question marks still regarding it. Obviously, Kyrie's D probably needs to pick up a little more, but nonetheless, he is lacking when there aren't many people playing. There aren't many great defenders left on Boston's team, but I will give Boston credit. They're defending as a team as a whole rather than relying on an Avery Bradley and a Jay Crowder to do the predominance of their defensive work. You've only got to look at the steals number there for Kyrie at 2.4 a game. You've got 1.8 steals for Marcus Smart. Terry Rozier has been coming in here as well with 1.9. They've been having some solid contributors all across the board. Shot blocking has been a little questionable. You've got Aaron Baines and Al Horford and Jason Tatum there, but beyond that, their rim protection hasn't been great. So their all-around team defense has certainly been paying off for them. As I go more into Kyrie's stats here over the last 4 games, I gave him a total impact score of 0.173. Over the 4 games, he averaged 23 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, and 5.8 assists per game. He had the 2.3 steals per game and 0.8 blocks per game. He shot 50% from the field, which is exactly what you want from your lead guy, 50% shooting no matter what. 33.3% from deep in a previous era would have been phenomenal. Nowadays, it's about run-of-the-mill. But Kyrie's not a great three-point shooter. He's a good three-point shooter, but he's not a great three-point shooter. And 100% from the stripe shows that when his shot's not falling, he's able to get to the cup and get fouled, or at least take advantage of those bonus free throws he may receive. Only the 2 turnovers a game. I can't complain about that for a point guard, having a near 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. However, I'd like to see him probably distribute the ball a little more, considering the young guys on that team have showed their capability and their potential to take over games. And 32 minutes a game, so he's playing 2/3 of game time, showing that the team isn't relying on him to play extremely long stretches, is another positive for this side going forward. I mean, as I mentioned, the young guys like Tatum, Brown, and Smart coming through are showing some great potential, and their ability to play the ball so young with such little experience around them has been pivotal to this side's development. So, again, my first player of the week for the 17th and the 23rd of October was Giannis Antetokounmpo, but my player of the week for the 24th to 30th of October 2017 has been Kyrie Irving of the Boston Celtics. Total impact score of 0.173. Over the 4 games, he led Boston to a record of 4-0, with a total win streak now leading at 5. He averaged 23 points over the 4 games. He averaged 23 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, all of those defensive, mind you. I should point out that all of these rebounds have been defensive. 5.8 assists per game, 2.3 steals per game, and 0.8 blocks per game. He shot 50% from the field, 33.3% from deep, and 100% from the free throw stripe. So clearly making baskets when he's not able to get his outside shot to fall. He's getting to the cup, he's getting fouled, and he's scoring. Only 2 turnovers per game, leading to an almost what is essentially a 2.9 assist to turnover ratio, which is quite good. Would like to see that a little higher with a bit more ball distribution, though, as I mentioned. Only the 2 fouls in 32 minutes a game, so every 30 plays he gets a foul, which isn't too bad. And it shows great defensive ability when stealing the ball there and blocking shots. Obviously, his presence could be a little bit more, though. But overall, efficient offensively, reasonably efficient defensively, and with a great young squad coming through, I don't see why Kyrie can't continue to lead this team into the future and hopefully build on a contending playoff team, not only for this season, but seasons to come, possibly a championship as well. Anyway, guys, that's been me. Thank you very much for tuning in to my NBA Player of the Week for the 24th to 30th of October 2017. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel for more daily and what will be weekly NBA updates. Leave a comment. Let me know who your Player of the Week was, who your Player of the Day was, how you feel my grading system's going. Do you feel I've looked over anyone? And what else should I be looking for with my analysis on the game? Hit me up on Twitter, Justin_G_Bryan, where I'm talking not just hoops, but daily, everyday life, mainly sport, but I mean, I have a reasonable coverage on what's going on in the world today. So again, thank you very much for tuning in. And once again, my player of the week for the 24th to 30th of October 2017 is Kyrie Irving of the Boston Celtics, leading them to a 4-0 record on the week.